Hello, my name's Mick Neal and I'm the Superintendent Minister in the Barnsley Circuit. And I'm with Michael and Heather, who are both members of our circuit leadership team. In 2021, the circuit agreed a mission plan for the period 2021 to 24. So it's time now for us to review what has been achieved. The plan is created around the four main themes of our calling: worship, learning and caring, service and evangelism. So we're going to record some brief conversations, taking each heading in turn, which we will share on our social media platforms. We don't know everything that is happening in the circuit, so we hope that those who watch the films will be able to add their own comments to tell us what's happening in their chapel and community, and also to prompt us with suggestions of the ways that we can progress our plans. This booklet is the booklet that we have shared in the circuit that covers all the themes and our priorities for the next 3 years. The first priority is worship. Under the heading of worship, we say that the circuit will encourage accessible and varied worship opportunities, provide online activities, training and help to install equipment, and enable people to explore a calling to local preaching or worship leading. So Michael and Heather, thank you for joining me. We'd like to talk just for 5 minutes about the things that we have been doing in the circuit under this heading of worship.
I think COVID changed a lot. People couldn't go into church and we had to find new and creative ways of contacting people. And part of that was the work to use the internet. And we invested in the equipment first at Brierley so that we could live stream services. And that was available through YouTube and various other platforms. And that's got people involved that perhaps didn't come to church as well.
Mm. Yes, absolutely. And it means that every week there's a service there available, which doesn't have to be watched live, it can be watched at any time. And I think people in our congregations who, for whatever reason, aren't at church on a Sunday or want to see another act of worship have that opportunity every week, which is, and we're continuing that, and we're committed to that.
Yes, and with that as well, we've been able to provide services that are different formats as well, because Brierley have set up what they call a contemporary worship, which brings together people that want to use perhaps music that some of the traditional church services wouldn't include. And we've also been able to use the internet to give us things like Zoom prayer meetings, people getting together, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. Each of the 3 multi-site churches have developed various alternative worship opportunities. They're committed to doing it 3 times a year, but we've had Tuesday worship, cafe style worship. There's mentioned the contemporary worship, a whole range of opportunities there which are available within the multi-sites and across the whole circuit as well. So opportunity for people to sort of taste different ways of worshipping that they might not see in their own chapel, perhaps.
I think as well, since lockdown, we've opened the Soft Play Centre in Hemsworth, and we've now been able to offer 2 sessions of worship in there, which we call Fiesta Worship, and that has been very popular. And also, we've been able to support Pogmore as they've moved out of their building and started to explore worship in the pub, and engage with the community in new and different ways through that as well. So there have been lots of things going on in our worship life. And just this last week, we've started our worship leaders course, encouraging and enabling people to become more involved in the worship that they are attending, whether that's in the buildings or online.
Yes. And I think we've made better use of social media particularly and other means to make sure that people across the circuit are aware of all these different services, styles, approaches, and opportunities, so that folk aren't just feeling that it's what happens in their chapel, but there's lots more going on.
So I think that our worship in many ways, because opening up after COVID, we had to be careful about how we included people in worship. But slowly we've opened up, but we've also been able, as we've opened up, to become more accessible in many different ways that have given new opportunities, as well as making sure that the things that we were doing before, we're still doing and we're doing well, which has been a very positive response to the situation that we've been in.
I know we'll touch on Holy Habits program later, but the section on worship in Holy Habits was, introduce people to different things and help them to think through what we're trying to gain from going to a church service, which, sometimes we need to stop and think about that.
Yes.
We do, yes. Yep. So thank you. That's been really helpful. Our next session, or our next short film, will be about learning and caring.